Peace and blessings, everyone. This is my review of the Street Fighter 6 demo that was released recently by Capcom. Now, of course, in this demo, the Battle Hub was not available, unfortunately, so I will have to wait until the game drops for that. I did do some Fighting Ground, and I did World Tour mode as well. Of course, I wanted to try Fighting Ground at first because, unbeknownst to you all, I'm still on a PS4. So I wanted to see how it runs on the PS4, and it actually ran really well. As you can see, they've added different modes: arcade, practice, versus. We have special match, which I did not play this time around, and online. Here's the tutorial, and I gotta say, I'm not really big on tutorials, but this was very, very hands-on. Those of you who have never played Street Fighter before, you'll love it. And for those like myself who grew up with Street Fighter, this will be a nice little review, especially with all the new mechanics like the drive gauge, which I absolutely love. I love the drive rush. I love drive reversal, which I practice later on offline, and the drive parry. I love all of it. And this tutorial was very hands-on in showing me how to use the drive gauge to the best of my ability and not just throw stuff out there. And I would like to say I retained a lot of this information. I enjoyed myself in this tutorial, and I don't say that about a lot of fighting game tutorials. And specifically, the character tutorials. Like, I thought I knew how to play as Ryu with all my previous experience, but Ryu in this game, and this is with every Street Fighter game, no Street Fighter game ever plays the same, but Ryu is the most different. Of course, he still has his classic moves, his Hadouken, his Tatsumaki, Senpuyaku, and his, of course, his iconic Shoryuken. But he has a couple other new moves as well that I got to do in Fighting Ground. Of course, I wanted to beat up on Luke because I don't like Luke. Luke is not my favorite, but if you like Luke, that's more power to you. I just don't like Luke. By the way, shout out to Soul Calibur for pioneering the facial expressions, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have them in Street Fighter. Okay, back to Fighting Ground. Like I said, from the tutorial, I went straight into Fighting Ground to see what I had retained, and also to see how it runs on PS4. And as you can see, it ain't bad. Of course, the graphics have been scaled down, and my fan was running on overtime, but it ran pretty well. It ran pretty well. There was slight screen tearing, but that's due to me turning off the input reduction delay. I turned that back off, and there was no more screen tearing. And the animations are like, I believe, between 4 and 6 frames behind with the button pressing. I did some research, but the game is still running at 60 FPS. It still looks good. It still plays good. And I had a good time. I had a thoroughly good time. By the way, commentary mode, I'm going to have that on because it just makes the fight all the more hype. Now, for those of you who don't like people talking in the background, you can definitely toggle commentary mode off, but I enjoyed it. I loved it. I'm going to have it on for like all of my fights, online and offline. It just adds a level of hype that I haven't enjoyed in most fighting games, unless you're like playing something high paced like Guilty Gear. I enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed this entire Fighting Ground demo. I was upset when the game had cut it off after me doing 3 rounds, and I went back to it. And of course, with every round, I tried to learn from my mistakes from the last round while retaining, old Street Fighter knowledge. In the end, at the end of the day, I had a good time. I even landed a perfect parry. You probably won't see it here in this video, but you all can check out my 2-hour stream. Yes, I reduced a 2-hour stream to 10 minutes. Be proud. Be proud of me. And they kept, even though they downgraded, you could still see some of the updated graphics and whatnot, the veins and everything. And now moving on to World Tour. Now, World Tour is very extensive, especially in the create a characters side. I just wish they had waves for black characters. We're not just afro, dreads, and wild hair, Capcom. Put some waves in there. Get us a do-rag or something. Come on now. But other than that, the customization is wonderful. It's very reminiscent of the Mass Effect series. As for World Tour itself, I'm going to be honest, I don't really see myself playing a lot of it. I got this game specifically for Battle Hub and for Fighting Ground. And the only reason I'd probably be doing World Tour is to upgrade my character so I can use that avatar to fight other avatars in the Battle Hub. But as for the story itself, from what I've seen, it's okay. It's not terrible. For those of you who are mostly casuals, who are looking more so for single player content, you might enjoy it better than me. Also, and this actually goes across all systems, even the PS5, all the scenes and all the fights have been reduced to 30 frames. This is even on the PS5, which is crazy to me because on Fighting Ground, it runs at a clean 60 FPS, but here they reduced it. You would think they would keep that 60 FPS for the fighting, and it just made things awkward, especially with the modern and dynamic controls. Not a fan. I prefer putting in inputs if I can. But for those of you who are not input friendly, I should say, that's definitely for you. And for those of you who just really want to enjoy the game and press some buttons, then dynamic is definitely for you. As you can see, my avatar has a rival. All our avatars will have this rival. I think his name is Botch or Butch or Bosch. I can't pronounce his name for the life of me. But yeah, this guy with the name that begins with B will be your rival for the entirety of World Tour. Also, the walking sections, even though it'll run at 60 frames on the next gen, previous gen, the frames will drop from time to time. It'll be like at 59, 50, sometimes 60 FPS. This character is very weird. It's very weird. But she's a part of the story as well. She works for Luke, I guess, this agency that he's running. Basically what you're going to be doing in this mode is you're going to be getting mini quests from NPCs, and then you'll be fighting randos on the street, random NPCs. You'll be fighting actual people, but you'll be fighting just random strangers. And it can be anyone. It can be someone trying to take a picture, a selfie of you. It could be someone on the phone. It could be a police officer. It could be a granny. It could be anyone. All you got to do is walk up, step up to them, and they'll fight you just because. They'll fight you just because. Now, like I said, all the fights are in 30 FPS, so it takes some of the fun out of it, and you kind of start off in modern controls. You do get classic controls later on, but I wish you could toggle that off. Hopefully they fix that by the time the game comes out. But yeah, it was okay. Like, I don't see myself playing this mode often. Also, they announced you can buy food to replenish yourself in World Tour mode, which is really cool. It's really neat. You can also give yourself some drip. By the way, this hat is so ugly. It's so ugly. I didn't like it, but yeah, you can customize your character in World Tour mode as well. And lastly, you can learn moves from different Street Fighters. You can enroll at their schools, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Street Fighter 6 drops on June the 2nd. I will be playing it day one. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. If you're ready for Street Fighter 6 and you want to know more and you like this content, like, share, and subscribe. Peace. See ya.